dressing professionally, showing up with confidence, and really showing your soft skills, because soft skills and like culture fit, personality, those things can't really be trained. I had to be honest with myself and like ask myself the questions, like, are you truly happy where you are? Like, are you really going to be in the same position for the rest of your life? And so I finally made the decision in August of last year to finally do what I've wanted to do for years and start my own firm. So that's when Elevate was founded.
People don't want to say how much they're making. They don't want to say how much the job is.
Okay.
It's all kind of in a negotiation stage that never really gets met until you're signing the deal. What is the salary advice that you would give them?
No, that is a good one. There's several reasons, but I think one of the biggest differentiators that sets people apart through the interview process is just
Welcome to the HBW Podcast, your front row seat to Houston's most elite and ambitious women and the blueprint behind what actually takes to build, sustain, and lead with confidence and authority. I'm Jessica Martin Howell, and today's guest has spent over 20 years on the side of the hiring process most of us never actually get to see. She's placed everyone from staffing level to C-suite, and she's watched the patterns, and she knows the things to look for when hiring managers. She also knows what they say when you're out of the room. Welcome, Shelley Ray, and welcome to the HBW Podcast. We're so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we're just going to go ahead and dive right into it.
Let's do it.
So, Shelley, you've sat across from thousands of different candidates over the last 20 years. What is the most common reason someone who might be qualified doesn't get the offer?
There's several reasons, but I think one of the biggest differentiators that sets people apart through the interview process is just how they show up to the interview. Obviously, like skill set's going to be important, but just being prepared for the interview, dressing professionally, showing up with confidence, and really showing your soft skills, because soft skills and like culture fit, personality, those things can't really be trained. And so a lot of times if somebody doesn't have or doesn't check all the boxes on the job description or what the hiring manager is looking for, but they are a good culture fit and they know this person can be trained, a lot of times they'll end up being the ones to get the offer.
So what kind of soft skills, if we're just going to, maybe I'm interviewing next week.
Yes.
What kind of soft skills are you all looking for outside of I have these skills that I know how to do for my job?
Sure. I think some of the soft skills with what we do, because it's a lot of, accounting and finance, more corporate level roles. So again, showing up with confidence is going to be important, but in terms of other soft skills where it's going to set you apart, just personality is going to go a long way. Like showing your leadership skills is going to go a long way. Like, is this person going to be capable of like moving up within the organization? And so just making sure the hiring manager like knows the impact you can make whenever you come in the door is going to help set you apart.
Good. Because I also feel like sometimes we look at roles as this fills me for right now.
Yeah.
Versus let's look long term. So
Yes.
Do you find that a lot of hiring managers are looking long term versus the short term?
I do. That's how they should be looking at it. And I think just depending on the situation and, how quickly they're looking to get somebody in the seat, sometimes they may make a mishire because they're just trying to get somebody in quickly, depending on what happened internally at the company and why the role's open. But most of the roles we work, they're very intentional with the hiring process and what they're looking for. So they will take their time and make sure they find somebody who's going to be a long-term fit and who can grow within the organization. We hear that time and time again, like they want somebody who they can see growing. And a lot of times that's also another reason why somebody would get the offer over another candidate. And that actually happened recently. They really liked one candidate, and after they, debriefed and discussed it, they ended up not going with that candidate and actually starting the search over because they just couldn't see that person growing into a higher level position. They would have been a great senior like forever, but they really wanted somebody to come into the company that could promote to a manager position. So just showing those skills in an interview is important, and just showing that you do have the leadership.
So now that you've been here, we're on our podcast. We're so
Yes.
excited you're here.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about your entrepreneurial journey.
Okay.
So we know that you've been doing this for 20 years. I know you're a new founder, which is so
Yes.
exciting. Tell us a little bit about that journey.
Okay, it is very exciting. So I'm excited to talk about this question. It has been a long time coming. It's obviously something that took me years to finally get to the place where I was comfortable in moving forward with this decision. Um, and even if we look back like to the first firm that I worked with, because it was almost 17 years that I spent there out of college. So that was my first job, knew nothing about recruiting, and stayed long term. So I thought that was the end all be all. I thought I was just going to be there forever. Um, and honestly, it was probably during COVID when the world shut down.
Mhm.
We didn't know what was happening. And all of a sudden, I'm working from home, 100%, as everyone was. And so it kind of gave me the opportunity to take a step back and just really think about what I wanted. Um, and that was really the time where I had to be honest with myself and like ask myself the questions like, are you truly happy where you are? Like, are you really going to be in the same position for the rest of your life? And I was like, this is not it for me. Like I was feeling pulled in another direction. And I just knew in my gut that what I really wanted was to have my own firm one day. So, I mean, again, this was back in 2020, sat on it, for the whole next year because I didn't end up resigning until December of 2021. And so I think I just had to be honest with myself in making the decision to finally resign. So it was a long journey for me. And then through that resignation, I mean, it wasn't the smoothest process. So, I mean, I had a lot of adversity that I was faced with because I was maybe too honest in my resignation and just telling them that my plan was to start my own firm, which was a violation of our non-compete. So that whole year of 2022, I mean, I was under a strict non-compete, going through a lawsuit with my previous firm. And during that time, I was actually introduced to my former business partner. And so then that kind of became the game plan because in that moment, it seemed like that was going to be an easier like stepping stone for me. And I think I was just really overwhelmed because I wasn't expecting everything that I went through that year. And so when I came out of the non-compete starting in 2023, I did have a business partner for the last 3 years. But again, I had to be honest with myself and ask myself the same questions like, are you happy? Are you living in your purpose? Are you really following the direction of your goals? And the answer was no. There's just a misalignment with what our goals were for the business and just where we saw it going. And also just a misalignment on culture. And so I finally made the decision in August of last year to finally do what I've wanted to do for years and start my own firm. So that's when Elevate was founded.
Hey guys, we wanted to just interrupt this episode to let you know that our annual Women's Summit is coming back this September. You're not going to want to miss it because we're going to have an elevated experience where we're going to be featuring speakers, C-suite women, executives, business owners, and also vendors in a fashion show, you guys. Yeah. You're not going to want to miss it. Go ahead and grab your tickets today. You can find that link in the description below.
So you've talked about culture. We chatted about that with the interview process, also with your firm. Tell us a little bit about, your culture at Elevate Search. And then also as a potential candidate, what are you looking for when you want to find the right culture fit for you?
For Elevate. So yes, culture is very important to me. And I think because, I come from the recruiting world. And so I've seen what the culture can be because it is such a competitive environment. But I have just always been of the belief that even though it's competitive, we can be competitive with outside agencies and like what our true competition is. But internally, we should be able to work together. And so that's what I've tried to, build at Elevate and like teach my team. Like it is a competitive role. Yes, it's basically sales, but we can still work together as a team and just get more jobs filled. Whereas some other cultures, I don't know, it's unintentional, I think, but you tend to want to use your own candidate for your own job so that you get, the full piece of the pie instead of doing more splits. But I feel like if you do more splits, you're going to fill more jobs. You're not stretched as thin. And so our culture is definitely going to be more supportive. I mean, we're very positive. We work very well as a team. I'm not going to put up with like negativity in the office. And we do have a rule though, because again, our job is very up and down because we don't always hear what we want to hear. There's a lot of rejection. I mean, candidates turn down an offer. We may not land the client that we're trying to land. But if we have an offer turned down, we have 5 minutes. So 5 minutes to just vent, like say how you feel, like get it out of your system. Then you can take a walk, like get a coffee, or we'll have like a quick dance party or something and just shake it off. Because if you hold on to the negativity, it really brings down the whole team, number one, and just your whole day gets thrown off. Because I mean, just because you have one turn down, I mean, we still have other jobs to work on. So you have to immediately like kick it back into high gear and move forward. So that's kind of the rule and a little bit about what our culture looks like. And so when I'm interviewing candidates for Elevate, I am looking for people who have a natural competitiveness, but also that positive energy, like somebody who's going to be a strong team player. But in work ethic too. Work ethic is really important, especially in our industry. So those are the things that would be most important to fit in with our culture.
And I remember too, we were on a phone call last week and you said, we got some disappointing news. We're going to go get ourselves a Diet Coke.
Yes.
We're going to walk it off. We're going to come back and we're going to hit the
know.
ground running. And you signed on 2 other amazing clients.
Yes.
So,
And I think I think it was the timing of the call that we had. But for me, it's like, I just have to say it out loud. So I think you just caught me in that moment. It was like, I can't even hold in how I'm feeling because this literally just happened. So I just told y'all as if y'all even knew anything that was going on.
No, but I think it's perfect.
it helps me.
highlights that. It highlights that you had your 5 minutes.
Yes.
We're on to the next thing.
Yes.
You hit the ground running and then you got these 2 other amazing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's so funny because it is such a roller coaster. Like we'll have a day where like everything goes right. Everyone, is a great fit for the roles that we're working on. So we get some amazing presents or we get an accepted offer, we get a new client. And then the next day we could have some rejection, but you just have to know how to balance that, the emotional side of it. But I think everyone's doing a great job at that so far.
I love it. So if we're going to pivot to maybe someone who's looking for a position,
Mm-hmm.
how do you have like a secret or something that would kind of tell them how do you balance the rejection? How do you balance showing up to that interview knowing that maybe I didn't get the last one?
Yeah.
How do we keep moving forward and stay positive?
I know we deal with this a lot because it's emotional, like this industry, and just because we hear all the stories and some candidates have been in the market for a long time. I mean, and they may have been laid off. And so they're not working, going through the process, which is a lot more stressful than somebody who is currently working, where they can take their time and make sure they find the right fit compared to the ones who are out of work. And like, it's super important for them to land their next role. So when I have conversations with them, I mean, you always just want to like stay positive and just encourage them, like not to give up, because when you're not working and you're sitting at home and you're just looking online all day and applying to job after job and you're seeing there's thousands of applicants for the same job and just wondering, am I ever going to get a call back? Am I ever going to get an interview? I do think it's important to at least work with a few recruiters because we work a lot of jobs that aren't posted. So I think that's important, but also we are your support system. We're your advocate. We're going to help get you really prepared for an interview. Before every candidate interviews, we do have a prep call the day before just to, go over all the details again about the role, give them insight about who they're meeting with, and then just all those reminders about how to show up to the interview, how to dress for the interview. Just so I just feel like the more prepared you are, like the better you're going to interview, so the better your chances are. But it is tough sometimes, like hearing their stories and how long they've been out of work. But I think the main thing is just for them to stay in that positive mindset and then, just to have a support system around them and not to give up, just to keep applying because the right job is out there. It's just a matter of time.
Definitely. So you mentioned getting a recruiter. How would someone find you or how would they find the right recruiter to work with?
LinkedIn, really,
Okay.
because you can do searches for what your specialties are, and most recruiters are going to have their heading to where we're easy to find. So if it's accounting and finance, or if it's supply chain, or if it's IT, so starting there. But I feel like most candidates have at least worked with one recruiter in their lifetime, so then they refer that recruiter to their friends. But you can easily find us on LinkedIn, though. I mean, we get messages all the time through LinkedIn. And then also my contact information is on my LinkedIn profile too. So you can also directly email a recruiter or call them directly too.
I love it. All right. We're going to talk financial.
Okay.
which is always, it's a big topic because I feel like a lot of times it's hidden. People don't want to say how much they're making. They don't want to say how much the job is.
Okay.
It's all kind of in a negotiation stage that never really gets met until you're signing the deal.
Sure.
So as a woman in business, what is the salary advice that you would give them?
Okay.
And why?
Okay. No, that is a good one. And this does kind of it goes back to some of the benefits of working with a recruiter, but I can give an answer for both if you're working with a recruiter, or if you're not working with a recruiter. But when you're working with a recruiter, the benefit is we actually manage salary talks for you. So when we interview the candidate initially, I mean, we're getting all of that information up front from them, like what they're making, what are they looking to make. We share the compensation range for the role that we're recruiting for. So full transparency, they know exactly what the range is and if it's in line with what they're looking for. And then we let them know like what we're going to present them at. And then even through the process, like once it comes down to getting the offer, then we also negotiate the offer for them too. So that makes it really simple. And we're always going to advocate and negotiate, the best salary for the candidate. It's, making sure it meets their needs, making sure it's within the market and it's a fair range. I think you should always negotiate an offer too, because typically the first offer is just a starting point. Because we work directly with the clients, we'll typically know like if they have wiggle room. Sometimes they don't. And that's when we know, okay, we don't want to push it because they've already told us this is the top of the budget and there's no flexibility. And so we can just have that honest conversation. But if you're not working with a recruiter, I mean, I will always say negotiate, always, always, always. You just want to advocate for yourself and you never want to lowball. And I think a lot of people may be scared to ask for more because they think maybe the offer would be rescinded or whatever the reason is. Like, I think they're just nervous because like you said, I mean, salary is just one of those topics. And but you just don't want to come into a role not at the range you should be at. So it never hurts to ask. The worst thing they're going to say is, I'm so sorry, like this is the top of our range. We can't go any higher. Or they might be able to do something in the bonus, or they might be able to do something with the PTO. So I do think it's important to always try to negotiate whatever offer you get.
So negotiate.
Yes.
Negotiate.
Absolutely.
If it's the right time.
Yes, for sure.
The right client. Yeah. Okay. So if we flip the script, as a business owner who's trying to hire right now, what is a big mistake that you see business owners making?
Okay.
And then what's some advice that maybe you would give them as they review candidates?
I think, what we see a lot of our clients make a mistake on is just screening too hard. So, there's a lot of talent out there. And I feel like too many people are looking for the unicorn where, a lot of things can be trained. And so I think just don't overscreen. You can find somebody who's going to fit in with your culture, who's going to end up being a really long-term fit for the company, but they may not check all 5 boxes. They might check 3 boxes. So that's what I would say. Just don't overscreen and you'll end up finding like a really solid candidate.
So that kind of goes back to our first chat about the soft and the hard skills. And as a candidate, you're building up those hard skills, but also the soft ones.
True. And people, they're going to hire based on likability. If they really like a candidate, but that candidate's missing like one key thing, they're most likely still going to hire that candidate because you want to work with somebody that you like. But yes, don't overscreen though. You're missing out on some really good candidates out there.
Hello?
Oh my gosh, Emma. So our annual Women's Summit returns this September, reimagined for an unforgettable evening experience.
Wait, you're serious? Something new is on the horizon.
Y'all, you don't want to miss this event. This year, we're bringing an amazing celebration with panelists, vendors, and a mini fashion show.
Last year, over 250 women came specifically for this event. The summit's going to be amazing. You don't want to miss out. There's no FOMO on this one.
So as we were talking about kind of your pivot from 17 years at the same firm, what does it take to just take that leap? I know we talked about it a little bit, but what was that, this is what I'm going to do moment for you?
Oh, I know that there's another story to this too. But so for me, the 17 years with the same firm, like the moment for me, I just came to realization, my stress levels how negative I was being all the time. And then I would find myself just crying on my drive to the office. And I was like, what are you doing? For no apparent reason, just the anxiety of just knowing that this wasn't what I was supposed to be doing for the rest of my life. So, and just being honest with myself once I realized, okay, like you can't continue to do this every day. Like you're not happy. And I wanted to be happy again. And I was for so many years. I had a great career there. I really did. But I think I just outgrew it. And then I did get to that point where I knew I was being pulled in another direction. So that would be it for me. Just the stress, the negativity, and then just crying on my way to work.
That's never good.
That's never a good thing. That was the biggest sign. I was like, okay, this can't be it.
No, most
Got
definitely.
to make a change. It's time.
So now that you've started Elevate, what is the one thing that you've learned in the last, it hasn't even been a year.
Gosh, I know. Just since like mid-August.
Yeah.
So much, because this is new for me. So, I think the biggest thing I'm learning is just how to be a good leader, I think, for my team, just showing up for them, being present, leading by example, supporting them, making sure they have all the tools to be successful. And then just learning about business in general, which I'm sure you know too. There's just so much. Learning more about taxes, the word nobody wants to talk about, but I've learned a lot about that, and just how to grow and build, and just learning more about the operation side of it. But I've learned a lot about myself too, I would say, and just everything that I have been through leading up to this point, just how resilient I can be, and just how I've overcome the adversity, which that I'm super proud of. But yeah, I think just learning a lot about myself, but then just how to be a leader, and then just business overall.
So taking that, any woman who feels stuck in their
Mhm.
current job or their current path
A
or
lot
their
of them
career.
do. Yeah.
Yes, I was going to say, I feel like this is kind of
Yeah.
a theme, but they don't know what the next step is. What
Mhm.
would maybe the next step be?
Sure. I think people are just, and women are just afraid to take the risk. So for me, what I did, just be honest with yourself, ask yourself those questions. Like, are you happy? Are you living in your purpose? Are you moving in the direction of your goals? And if the answer is no, talk to your support system, come up with a plan, and then just don't be afraid to take the risk, because almost always, like, if you take the risk, it's going to be worth it in the end. So that would be my advice.
Yeah, I love it. Now, on the flip side, the business owners who are trying to build a team in Houston, should they stop doing, and what should they start doing?
Okay. What should they stop doing? They should, I kind of said this earlier, but I think they should stop like over screening candidates, because even like when I look at my team, I want people on my team that, really believe in Elevate, who they want to see Elevate win. They want to see me win. They truly care about the success of the company. So I think focusing more on bringing employees in that can, support you in that way. I think that's important, instead of over screening to try to find the perfect candidate for your team. And then what was the other part of that? Like, what should
I
they
think you
start?
kind of answered both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By stop over screening and
Yes.
finding those people who really want to see you
Who
succeed.
really want to see you succeed, because that's going to do so much for your company.
Yeah.
So.
I agree, because when you have people in your corner
Mhm.
and you feel, okay, we have this, it becomes
Yes,
from
you
I
really
need to
feel
do
the
it to we.
support from them. They also want to work hard for you.
Mhm.
And, even going back to leadership, if they see that you're supporting them, they're going to want to
Mhm.
support you too. And so I feel like everything just kind of falls into place.
Yeah. It's not a Shelley asked me to do something she wouldn't do.
Exactly.
It's
I
a-
would never.
yeah.
And I think that they know that. I think they would say the same thing. And just leading by example. Hopefully, I'm pretty sure they would say that. And just also leading with kindness. And I'm never going to be, the manager who's going to call you out in front of everybody. And if there is, feedback, I will pull you aside, and still the delivery is going to be in a way that you don't want to go crawl into a hole. I just feel like no one works well under that type of culture or leadership. So I just don't want to be that way at all.
I think anyone who has ever had a manager appreciates that from
Yes,
you.
I agree.
Because we do,
Yeah.
and I will say one of my career moves was because I had a manager like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I had a crying in the car moment, just like you
Mhm.
did. And I was like, this is not for me.
Right.
I'm going to go do something
It
else.
shouldn't be like
Yeah.
that. It really shouldn't. It is possible to, have a position and a role where you are happy. I mean, I guess no one really loves to work. I mean, I actually do. I love to work, but but a lot of people don't. I think that's normal, but you can still find a place that you're comfortable, that it's a positive environment. It's good for your mental health. I mean, I do think that's possible. So
I love it. And you're finding those people and
I am
connecting
finding
them
those
with
people.
candidates.
Yes.
So now we have our fun moment. We're going to
Okay.
do the rapid fire. I'm going to grab
Okay.
my phone and we're going to see if we can't answer 3 of these as quickly as we can in 30 seconds. Okay. So, are you ready?
I guess so. I'm nervous.
No reason to be nervous. Okay. What's one piece of career advice that you would undo if you could?
Probably don't job hop. I mean, I
Mhm.
obviously stayed in my first job probably too long. And I think it's just different these days and people don't look at it the same. And then when you stay in a job for too long, I do think it stunts your growth. And so that's the career advice I'd probably take away. So
Okay. That's a
Yeah.
good one. The trait that every successful woman you've placed has in common.
I would say I've worked with some really great women though. Confidence and I think just overall personality and not being afraid to like go after what they want.
Okay. And I know we're slightly over 30 seconds, but we're going to do it anyway.
Okay.
Networking events, yes or no, and why?
100% yes, which this is something that I am working on being better at. And I preach to my team too, like networking, we need to do it. It's just such a great way to build your network. It's a great way to do business development without having to cold call because it's a more informal, environment where you can get to know people. So yes.
I love it. So what she's saying is come to HBW.
Yes.
No.
Y'all have some great events too. So you need to hold me accountable with what I just
Okay.
said and make sure I come to the next one.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you will see Shelley.
Yes.
We're all holding you accountable. Well, thank you, Shelley, for taking the
Yes, this
time
was
to
so
come.
fun.
Yeah, we so appreciate your insights and your wisdom and
Of course.
everything.
Happy to be here. Thanks again.
Absolutely. Bye.